I'm here with VinneyD. Vinny has made some pretty big waves as far as someone who's put out 3 videos on YouTube, starting out a YouTube channel. So the topic of this space is Jack Doherty, who everyone may have seen all over social media the last few days, having totaled his McLaren, having been streaming on Kick and reading his chat. And in the pouring rain. Thank goodness he didn't kill anyone. But that is why he's in the news at the moment. And I wanted to chat to Vinny because he put out a video in August called "Catching Kick's Child Trafficker." And Vinny actually spent some time with Jack Doherty and his team, and I guess saw a lot of what was going on and put together a video reporting on what was happening that was concerning him around minors being involved with Jack's organization there. So first, yeah, thanks for coming on, Vinny. Thanks for coming on to share your story.
Yeah, of course. Love to do this.
Yes, the first thing that I'd like to know, like, and I get firstly, what time frame was this that you spent time with Jack and his team, and what kind of made you decide to reach out to Jack and spend time with him to kind of to see what was going on
Yeah,
and why you felt the need to, I guess, do this?
yeah. Okay. Well, I actually never reached out to Jack. So I had worked for somebody else at the time, and I'm an editor, right? So I work as an editor, and I filmed for him for a little bit, and then so we planned this like little stream out to go to Jack's house, and he's the one that has like contacts with some people that Jack knew, and that's why he was invited. And I came in there to do this whole little like stream thing for views and stuff like that. And when I was there, there was a minor at the house. I was there for like a couple of hours, and like obviously like the stream had already been kind of over, at least our little part of it. And then so, but Jack's stream was still going on, but he was like in a whole other area of his house. But I was in like a different area with like the rest of his team, and there was just like a minor there. There was like a 16-year-old girl there, and they told me she was 16. They were like, "Oh yeah." Like, oh, the first thing they said were like, "Oh, do you know she's 16 years old?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I didn't really give a reaction. I was just kind of like, "Okay." And yeah, I mean, it was the whole house was just like extremely like weird people, extremely like terrible, just like a terrible type of vibe, I guess you can say, kind of like just like a really bad like kind of vibe. And the whole time I was there, I was pretty much just trying to like go home and get out. And I didn't really know anything. I didn't really know much about Jack. I knew he was like not a. I know he was like not like a well liked person on the internet. Like I knew he was kind of like a hated person on the internet. But other than that, I didn't really know like much about him. Other than like I guess like I knew the fact that like Fuzi hanged out with him because I was like on my For You page and all that. And that's pretty much it. But I really didn't know like much about him at all. But when I saw that, when I had like witnessed that there was like a 16-year-old girl at his house, that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is like really like fucked up. But also as well, when you meet him in person and when you meet all like this team, like everybody kind of like in person, it's kind of like different than just seeing it online. Like online, you know he's like a terrible person and everything, but when you're actually there in person, it's like, oh, like this is like a like I don't know, like it's just different. Like you really like are able to see like this guy is a fucking shitty ass person. Like this guy really only cares about like himself and like what can benefit him.
And what time frame was this as far as where? I mean, he started as really a child influencer, right? So,
Yeah, I
but
think this was
he's
around February or March, somewhere around that
of
time
this year.
of this year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you, it sounds like you very quickly got like weird vibes about the group, Jack, the group. So was that like kind of pretty immediate, very, very quick that you sense like that something was weird about the situation?
Yeah. Yeah, literally, even when I had just first got into the house, I knew it was just like weird. It's like different when you meet people in your day to day life. Just normal people, but like they're like kind of assholes. Like they might be narcissistic, they might be whatever it may be. They're just not good people. Like they're just like kind of assholes, right? It's different when you meet those type of people and they have like nothing, like no influence, no type of money or anything like that. But meeting a person that's like that and does have influence and does have money and does have, you know, basically like just, you know, like the world kind of, you know what I'm saying? So and they're like a terrible person, you know what I'm saying? They're really like a shitty person. Everyone that hangs around him pretty much hangs around him because they get paid. And if that's happening, you're not like something is wrong about you. Like you're not like a good person. Like some, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And s- and it sounds like very quickly that people started telling you that there was this young girl there, this 16-year-old girl. I'm wondering how that came about. One, it sounds like they just kind of volunteer that information to you, but was it how quickly did it become apparent to you that like this wasn't a situation that someone that young should be in, and that was kind of weird?
Yeah. So I was there for already like, I don't know, like a couple hours, I would say maybe like 2 hours. And they just said it to me like it was normal. They was like, oh, like, this girl is 16, right? And I was just like, what the fuck? Like in my mind, I was like, what the fuck? But I didn't even say anything. I almost just like disregarded it. Like I didn't really say much. I was just kind of like, that's extremely weird. And yeah, after I learned that, I mean, beforehand, I was already like telling him like, yo, like when is Uber coming? Because I was already trying to go home. I didn't really want to be there any longer. Didn't really like the whole type of vibe and everything. Um, and but when I had found that out specifically, I was just like, something kind of needs to be like done about this because this is like not cool. So I did more research on him and learned like that this isn't like something new. Like there was actually another 16-year-old girl beforehand, and that was like on like screen and like it was even on drama alert and all of that. And I just went and like did more research and everything. I even went back to his house because he actually liked my editing and he wanted to hire me as an editor at one point, but um I I went back to his house. But the thing is that I was already exposing like kind of like another influencer, and I guess he kind of knew that, so he was just kind of like scared that I was gonna expose him. So he was trying to like ask me like how do I know you're not gonna expose me? Basically, it's like what he was kind of trying to get at. And you can even see it in my video as well, where he is like, "Yo, like how do I know? Like, oh, no one can expose me because they don't have any like because they can't get any proof or whatever." So he was, I guess he was like paranoid that I might expose him or something like that. So he didn't really like fully ever like hire me, but I did try to get a job so I can like maybe record something on my phone next time I see something like that. And like get like a lot more evidence and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was just I noticed like instantly like this is like something that needs to be like like so, this needs to be said. Like the thing about these people is that like they like I don't really like when it comes to people like oh it's like oh they got to be in prison like all that stuff. Like I'm a really like forgiving person, but these type of people they will keep on doing like their actions unless they're stopped. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And the other video, and it's kind of telling that Jack was paranoid about your other video and commenting that you or people couldn't get dirt on him. So for those that don't know, so Vinny's first video was about exposing a kick predator. So it's kind of been a theme of your first three videos, which is again, it's insane that you've only put out three videos and had this impact about exposing some of the depravity going on the streaming platform that is Kick. Um, but I guess coming into the Jack Doherty house and situation, were you aware of like his OnlyFans business and that was a thing? Like, did you have that context when you
Oh
found out there was minors involved?
no, I actually had no idea he did a OnlyFans agency or anything. So my first reaction was just like, okay, there's a 16-year-old at the house. I had no idea she was like, let alone like an OnlyFans girl, but let alone even one of like his OnlyFans girls. Like I had no idea that he even had like an OnlyFans agency or any of that. Because like all I knew about Jack was that he was just like an influencer that was really hated. I actually didn't even know like he streamed at all. Like I didn't know he streamed before we even were gonna go to the house. I had no idea he was a streamer. I thought he was just like a YouTuber, a TikToker, or whatever. Like I actually had no idea he was a streamer on Kick or anything like that. So yeah, I had no idea he did OnlyFans. It wasn't until I did like more research on who he was and everything that I figured out that he has an OnlyFans agency and that he works with Creators Inc. and all of that.
So you already kind of felt this was weird in this kind of, I don't know,
Yeah, because
influencer
my
house
my
with all this.
reaction yeah, my reaction when I saw a 16-year-old girl there was just like, "Oh, there's a 16-year-old girl at the house. I guess she was invited to this little thing. I don't know, like, why she would be there." I didn't really understand it. I didn't but, like, obviously later on I learned that the reason not just was obviously there's a 16-year-old girl at the house, but there's also, like, a lot of other different girls at the house too. My first reaction to that is just like, there's just he just throws these little get-togethers, like, all the time. That was just, like, my reaction to it, but yeah, like, he has, like, a whole team, like, he has a whole, like, OnlyFans agency, he has, like, all of that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you felt compelled to like look into him more. Obviously, some alarm bells were going off. So, can you explain? I guess having the context of this weird, I guess, group of people and the fact that there was this young girl there who you felt shouldn't, what wasn't appropriate for her to be there in the first place. Can you explain like your thought process of feeling that you need to do some research and then discovering what Jack actually does?
Yeah, so, eventually, like, I went back home, like, I didn't really give it much like, at first, I wasn't really gonna, like, do much about it, but I just felt like, I don't know, I guess convicted to, like, really, like, start doing more research on this, and, I just dug into it more and I figured out that there was like another 16-year-old girl at his house. I even put on Twitter that like, yo, like there when I was there was a 16-year-old girl at the house. And that's when Jack like flipped out when I put that on Twitter. He even like threatened to like sue me and everything. But I didn't take his threat seriously because when you sue someone for defamation, you have to like prove what the other person is saying is defamation. So if a serious accusation like mine, the police would have to investigate, and so um, they would just find out that I was telling the truth. So that's one thing about people, right? Like they're kind of scared to like put, I guess like bigger influencers, right, or commentary channels. They're scared to like put my video out there or anything like because they're scared of like getting sued and stuff like that. But I'm not like in my video, I go heavy and I go hard because I know what I'm saying is like you can't sue me. Like what I'm saying, you can't sue someone for defamation if it's not defamation. So especially a serious accusation like mine, the police would investigate and they would just find it everything out. So he can like never be able to like sue me or anything like that. But I went back home. I felt like I needed to do more research and I did, and it all led me to coming back to his house again so I can because he already like messaged me privately as well that he thought my editing was like he thought I was a talented editor. So and I think he was like looking for editors at the time too. So he already liked it and everything. But the thing is that now he thought I might like expose him because I guess the thing is that he has like a lot of stuff like that he's hiding. So if he thought that he couldn't trust me to like be a part of like that whole scene because obviously his whole other team, I guess they were like all cool with like all the shit going down that he was doing. So I guess he didn't think that I would be like down with that. So he just like backtracked on that.
So if we look at the time frame, so you first met with him in February, and then he saw your editing and he liked your work. He invited you back, and then before you came back, your first video dropped about exposing a kick predator,
Yeah, so I was
and
already
you
exposing him, not just on YouTube as well, but I was exposing him on my own stream. So I stream on Kick as well, and I was exposing him on my own stream, like saying, like, oh, like, I was exposing a lot of influencers at this time because, like, for example, Heel Mike, right? I was exposing him on my stream, so I was just kind of like dropping a lot of influencers that I was seeing online that do a lot of predatory stuff on my stream. So it wasn't just my video as well. It was also just like the fact that I would go on stream and speak against stuff like that, like publicly. You know what I'm saying?
wow, okay. So you went here the second time. Was like the whole vibe? Obviously, Jack was paranoid. Was the whole vibe different this second time? Like, was other people in the house wary of you? Did you feel, or
No, it was definitely different. Yeah, I feel like people were definitely worried of me. I think Jack specifically was like, I think like he was just trying to like test the waters with me to see if I was gonna be able to be okay with like the stuff that was going on. But I think he like got out. I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't really hiding the fact that I was trying to expose him. I was kind of like I'm really bad at kind of like blending in with these type of people because it's kind of hard. But yeah, I think they were definitely like worried of me. They were just like, "Yeah, this guy's not like, about it." You know what I'm saying?
so it's definitely interesting that, as you mentioned, like Drama Alert had put out some information, like I think it was even starting late last year, I believe, um, about some minors being involved. And I know, what was it, Natalie Reynolds was starting to post a lot about, with some allegations, I guess, that Jack was signing up minors to his OnlyFans.
He obviously doesn't claim that it was together. Let's just say around November. Told me everything that you were hanging out with her. I have pictures and videos of you guys cuddling.
I bet you won't show up.
And then she would tell me that you would Uber her home when I was about to come over.
Wow! I didn't even.
And then when I met her on like, New Year's Eve, you told her to tell me that she met you that day. You guys knew each other since November.
And it seems that it, the fact that after all this you went there, and then everyone was like open about the fact that there was a minor in the house and in the situation is pretty wild. It's like, do you feel like that Jack and I guess his circle felt like they were untouchable, like that they could just keep doing whatever they wanted?
Yeah, no, it is really wild. I think, yeah, that's exactly how they felt. They just felt because even when the whole thing with like Drama Alert happened, like the girl in the interview said, like they didn't even care when it was all exposed on Drama Alert. All they saw it as an opportunity to have more clout. So yeah, like they really, yeah, that's exactly how they feel. I guess like when they told me that, yeah, that's exactly the kind of like vibe I would get from them. They just feel like they're untouchable. Like they just feel like it doesn't really matter like who they tell, even though I was just there for the first time. Like you know what I'm saying?
Something
So
about alleged sex trafficking influencers thinking they're untouchable and can keep doing what they're doing and put out whatever they want online.
yeah,
Funny how that happens. Did you, apart from just the fact that you felt he was onto you and he was paranoid, did you like find out any more information in your second visit, or anything else that seemed weird that you included in your video, or was it just that was too sus?
yeah, no. So the second time I was there, there was no minors there. There actually wasn't that many people there. There was I think like one other streamer that came over to do like a boxing match with Norway, who Norway, by the way, also is one of the witnesses in my video, who go on to say that he also saw like a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old girl that came to the house and was hanging out with one of his other friends and all of that. So yeah, there was like another streamer that came that day who I think they planned out like a boxing fight for the stream, and I think that was about it. So there wasn't really that many people there that day.
That sounds like a disaster in itself for seemingly very unsanctioned boxing fight in a kick stream at Jack Doherty's house. But
Oh yeah, for
um,
sure. That's what he does though. Like he wants to have like a lot of boxing fights on his streams because that's how he gets views. That's all he cares about. He just wants to get views. He doesn't care about like who can possibly get hurt in these fights and just literally like in his backyard. And he makes them sign like an NDA as well. So if they get hurt, like they can't even do anything. But yeah, no, I mean that's his streams are just like degenerate. Is just the best way to describe it. Is degenerate streams.
what time frame was this second visit? Just give me an idea of how shortly
Yeah,
after the video came out.
yeah, I would say about March, maybe later in March.
Wow, okay,
Either
so good.
either later in March or early April, somewhere around that time.
So it's kind of several months after your video came out. So all right, so what happened like straight after that second visit, and you had that had that second experience?
So yeah, after that, obviously the reason I had gone there to try to get like hired and everything and try to, like blend in with them is to just see if I can eventually get more proof, like record something on my phone, like just try to get more proof was kind of like my goal. Cause obviously at that time, I felt like I needed like a lot more of proof and everything. But I got that little clip, and after that, I was like, maybe I won't make a video about this. I'll just see. Maybe eventually he'll get caught or whatever. And I didn't really worry about it too much. Um, but then I was like new witnesses are coming out. Like Norway came out as a witness. Neon was coming out with all the stuff he was saying. Then his editor actually already came out as a witness back in like February because he made a video with not February, I think, in actually January, late January, I think. He came out in a video with the Asher show, basically saying that Claire, they groomed her. She was 17 in their yacht, and they made her sign the contract to do OnlyFans. And so his old editor had actually already came out with like a lot of stuff, and I actually didn't know this. So, but he came out again in like April or March, I think, saying all this stuff again, but on like the Kick Jokers live stream. And so I went back to the Asher Show's video and got that little like clip of him, saying like that as well. And so yeah, more witnesses just came out, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should make a video about this because I feel like there needs to be like a set video where all of these witnesses are speaking. Because right now, at the time before that, I made my video, there wasn't like a set video where someone can go to and see like, okay, all of these witnesses seeing their stance and everything. It was all like disconjointed, you know what I'm saying, at different times, you know what I'm saying. So I wanted to make a video showing all of these people that have speaked out against this, including myself. And that's what I did with this video. And I try to show as much proof as I can. I even got an interview that has been deleted on YouTube. It's not even on YouTube anymore. Somebody had sent it to me. And it was an interview with the Natalie girl, basically saying that, yeah, like Jack's OnlyFans girls try to get her to do OnlyFans. It's literally pimping. So, yeah, Jack was trying to pimp her to start doing OnlyFans, and she was 16 at the time. And, she even said that people in the house knew she was 16 years old. And even after the whole thing was on Drama Alert, they still tried to hire more minors. According to her, that's what she said.
And he was just like, oh, I'm a content creator. I do content. I do this. And me thinking content, the only content I know is YouTube and TikTok. I didn't know this thing was a thing. So then when he invites me over, he was like, oh, there's a bunch, it's like an influencer house with a bunch of people. So I'm like, okay, it's not no weird shit. I'm not going to go meet up with this man alone. No, I'm going to go. I went with my mom. We went to see like who was there. We saw like there was girls there. So she let me be. But there were some people in the house that they did know my age. Like they did know how old I was, but they just never really said anything because they didn't think it was a big deal as well.
Okay. Before you play it, Jakeem, hold on. So there were people in the house that knew you were 16, but they didn't say anything. Okay.
Because they didn't really think it was a big deal. Like I had a camera guy that would come and shoot for me, the one that kind of like films for him, for Jack now. He used to be only my cameraman. He knew. A lot of people in the house knew as well. They just saw how I would handle things. They saw how I was the one blowing up in the house. Like I was the one pulling most of the views. So that's why they didn't say anything, because they were like, as long as she's pulling in the views, as long as she's making them more famous, or getting them more clout, that's all that they cared about. That's literally all that they cared about. When I went on Fresh and Fit, they didn't ask me about my age. I was like, okay, yeah, you probably have to be 16. So that's when I started going on, and they started inviting me more. They know how young I look, because I have a baby face, I look pretty young. Everyone can tell I'm young. So for them not to even question, they never questioned me at all. Fresh and Fit never questioned me at all. There's a lot of like rumors saying that I used a fake ID for Fresh and Fit, that I had a fake ID at Jack's house. I never had a fake ID. I never owned a fake ID. I always was... They asked me how old I was. I literally answered 16. That's how it was. Okay. So I would be around the Jack that has an OF agency. They would try to get me into it. They would try it a lot. They try to be like, yo, can we can we work together? Can we do this? A lot of OnlyFans models even came up to me from Jack's people saying like, it's not that bad. It's just a bikini picture. Me knowing, I know what it is. I never ever gave into it. That's something that kind of like made me stand out of everyone, that I was not into OF. I didn't want to look for OF as a route. I was super against OF in all of my streams. I even said it on my kick streams, and every kick stream I said, don't do OF.
The fact that you were 16 or 17 and you were around these OF models, these OF managers, agents trying to get you to do F is bad in itself. That would mean maybe you had enough mind power to say, no, I'm not going to do that. But imagine the other 16-year-old girl or 17-year-old girl that ends up doing OF.
Like there was, I think it was Jack's really close friend. She was 17. I remember, like the girls would try to like sound so convincing about it. Like
so they were girls trying to get you to do it.
Yeah, like his girls would try to get me to do it. So they would come and they would be like, "Have you ever posted a picture on social media?" And I was like, yeah. Have you ever posted like a swimsuit, like you in a swimsuit at the beach? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Everyone has posted themselves at the beach. And they're like, well, that's basically what OnlyFans is. And I'm like, not really, because you have a lot of men like just jacking off to your posts. And she's like, well, men are going to jack off anyway to any post if you post on Instagram. And I'm like, not really. Like, I was just like, wait, what? Like, not really. Like, OF is known for men that look at women to do that. Instagram is just a platform where people just post about their life and about what they do. So then they were trying to, like, compare that and tell me it's, like, the same thing. But I know better. Like, I know it's not. So I always said no. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. My concern, Nati, is that I'm sure there were other 17-year-olds or 16-year-olds or even 15-year-olds there that they were trying to come with that same, spiel. Hey, it's only a bikini picture. It's only this. It's only that. And then they get them to take that picture at 15, 16, or 17 years old, right?
It's just kind of messed up how they're still going for, like, minors, which is kind of weird. It's just weird.
Even after all the...
Exactly. Like, after everything that they went down, like, they ended up on Drama Alert. I ended up on Drama Alert. Like, it was a really big thing. Like,
explain what's Drama Alert. That's...
Drama Alert is on Twitter. It's, like, a really big page on Twitter where they say everything that, like, the drama that happens.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was, like, they ended up on that. And when you end up on Drama Alert, everyone knows now. Like, everybody will know what went down. Every influencer will get notified what happened. So yeah, that's when they ended up on that. Everyone saw that. I feel like they still didn't care. I feel like they just took that as an advantage. Like, oh yeah, more clout for me. So
man, they'll do anything.
They're hungry, man.
They'll do anything for clout. That's just like that song, that Migos song. That's crazy.
Wow. I mean, the interview spoke for itself. Now you guys know for sure, without me having to completely dox her ID to the internet, that she is in fact a minor, and that everyone in the house knew she was a minor, and that Jack himself tried signing her to do OnlyFans, full well knowing that she was 16 years old, and that even after this whole thing went on Drama Alert, they still tried going after more minors. Absolutely fucking sickening. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, like, so that's a big piece of proof that a lot of people didn't know about. There was a whole interview with her that had been deleted on YouTube. I needed to put that in my video. I also needed to put the fact that there's literally a TikTok of the girl that I witnessed, like now it's been 2 years, but when I had made that, it was a little less than 2 years ago. And so I needed to put that as well. So I just put everything that, has been said into one conjointed video. And yeah.
That interview that you mentioned, I didn't realize that was deleted from YouTube, because I had a bit of a look for it and couldn't find it. But that was super damning. A young girl who, I think she said she was 15 at the time, even, or 16.
Yeah, she was 16 at the time, yeah.
Yeah, and so just for everyone listening, to make sure everyone understands what we're dealing with here. So Jack Doherty, this idiot streamer who crashes McLaren, he has an OnlyFans agency, and he has houses where he keeps these girls. And there's been a lot of allegations of him hiring minors, one, to be in these houses, but two, to sign up to his OnlyFans agency. I've seen both allegations of him being accused of signing them to contracts before, when they're 17, to wait till they turn 18. But particularly this girl in this interview that you said that she was joined the group to, I don't know, I think I'll post on TikTok, but that Jack's OnlyFans girls were asking her, and I guess relentlessly trying to persuade her to join his OnlyFans and trying to convince her that it's the same as posting bikini pictures on Instagram, which is pretty wild. So, wow, okay. So you uncovered this interview, because that's crazy that must have got taken down very quickly. Do you think that didn't kind of go viral when it got put out?
Yeah, I probably did get taken down really quickly. I have no idea like how long it was on YouTube, but one of my friends had sent it to me, or I wouldn't say he's more like an online friend I had met when I made my first video. He's just a friend that I had met, and he sent that video to me about like the interview. He sent that 10-minute thing. He actually didn't have the whole interview saved, and he was like, "Dang, I don't have the whole interview saved, and it's deleted on YouTube." And he didn't know it was deleted on YouTube either until he had sent it to me, because he made a Twitter post about it, and he just all he had was that his Twitter post, right, and his saved video from the to put it on Twitter, but he didn't have the entire like interview saved. But he did have that 10-minute part of the interview where she was talking about Jack and how they tried basically setting her up to do OnlyFans. So yeah, I don't know like how long it was on YouTube before it got deleted. I don't know how many views it got, but that was just insane. When I saw that, I was like, I have to make this video. Like, I have to put that in the video. I have to put everything in this video. Like, I want the goal of the video was just to put everything together conjointly, because before my video, everything was just separate. Like, there wasn't like a conjoint evidence. It was all like separate evidence at different times, and so yeah.
And on a side note, while we're on your video, I've seen a lot of like bigger influencers and videos referencing your video and sharing it, but without giving you the shout out.
Oh,
And as a
really?
small use, yeah, somehow I've seen some giving you shout outs, but
I didn't even know there
what I'm
was a
saying
big
is, if
thing.
anyone likes this work and appreciates it, make sure you give Vinny the view, like, and subscribe, because he's obviously put a lot of work into it. And as far as like, because a big part of your video, right, is your opinion that you witnessed or have seen evidence and testimonies that would describe trafficking, and particularly child trafficking, because we're talking about some minors being involved here. And one thing that is a element of human trafficking that I've learned is particularly how to put it, harboring and housing potential victims. And we know that Jack has like houses, at least a house that he keeps his OnlyFans girls in. And I know that in some of the footage, there's been reference to like a separate house that he doesn't want people to know about, that has the at least one of the minors staying and
Yeah,
living
so
in.
I don't have her number. It's her number. Why? Because I don't know why you're kicking us out. I'm horny.
I don't know if she's gonna fucking.
I don't give a fuck.
That's not she's at the other house. I don't want anyone knowing who that is.
Julius donated $2. Another day of Jack's
Alright, tell her to pull up to wherever you are.
fixing the Wi-Fi.
What's her number?
The only way Jack is gonna fix the Wi-Fi is if you push him to it. You gotta press him on it, Mike, is the only way.
Why don't you want anyone knowing about that house, Jack? I wonder why.
So that whole segment in the stream when Mike was talking to this the girl that I had witnessed, I was 16 years old. I had found that literally just from digging in Mike's streams, because Mike would be going to Jack's house frequently. So I had found that specific footage when I was just trying to dig at his streams and find something, because I knew he was a pedophile too. From what I have heard about him, what the clips people have sent me of him, I knew he was a really like bad pedophile on kick, and same with Zerka as well. So I was trying to find some stuff on him, and I found that whole segment with him and the girl that I witnessed, and then he even tried to go, meet up with her like after the stream, I guess, right? And that's just really sickening. And like, not even in my opinion, I think this is an objective fact that is extremely sickening for someone to want to meet up with a minor and after stream and do God knows what. You know what I'm saying? So, um, obviously, he was trying to like meet up with her, and Jack was like, "Oh, but I don't want anyone knowing about that house, whatever." Obviously, you can tell Jack was like a little bit drunk or like tired, so he was just kind of like talking honestly. Like he was just like, "Oh, like he didn't want anyone knowing about that house, so whatever, right?" And then Mike was like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Just give me her number. Like we'll meet up somewhere else."
Wow. I've got a few speakers up that, firstly, I got Crayon Murders up on the stage, who has researched a lot of human trafficking law and whatnot in the Andrew Tate case, and may have some questions along those lines. So, Crayons, did you want to ask Vinny any questions?
Yeah, hey, thanks for bringing me up. Vinny, nice to meet you, man. I got a question since
Nice
you
to
were
meet you.
there. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Did you see anything while you were there that would indicate that the girls are being manipulated to work either on TikTok or on OnlyFans, or they're being coerced in any way? Or are there any situations that he's created where the girls might be afraid to quit, or they fear some sort of retribution if they quit working for him? Did you see anything like that?
Well, I didn't really talk to the girls that much when I was there. So what I can say is an assumption, but I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. Like my assumption would obviously be that he's persuaded these girls into doing this, OnlyFans for him and all that. Obviously with the promise of, okay, they get to live in a house in Miami and they'll have a luxurious lifestyle. And of course everything is done for them. All they need to do is just, record them doing sexual things, but everything else, like their marketing, their Instagram, everything, right? They're filming, they're editing, everything. Jack has an entire team for, and as how Jack, keeps them in line and keeps them, like working for him and all that. That would just be like an assumption. Like obviously, he promises them these lavish lifestyles. So I would assume that it would be because of that. Obviously, the lifestyle they get to live.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm wondering how this all falls in. I'm not that familiar with Jack. He's kind of new on my radar, especially since the car crash. And Gadget was kind of telling me a little bit before he went live with the stream here. So obviously, I have a ton of questions, and I think there could be some overlap with the Tate case in regards to how Tate is. One of the things Tate is being prosecuted for is forced labor, which is exploitation and human trafficking, in addition to commercial sex work. So for Jack, for the girls that are only doing, and it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there are a lot of the girls doing non-nude OnlyFans where they're not actually doing any sort of pornography. Is that correct?
It could be, and to be honest with you, I have no idea if it's lewd or nude in the OnlyFans because I'm not going to get them, and so the only way to know if like it's fully nude OnlyFans is for someone to actually see it for themselves. But it could be lewd, regardless if it's a lewd or nude. It's still extremely wrong and illegal. So, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reason I was asking is because one of the things we did see in the Tate case was that using control mechanisms, reasons to get the girls working, reasons to keep them working, putting girls in situations where they fear retribution if they quit. But even things like not allowing the girls to have control over their own accounts, not giving them passwords, not letting them see the finances, that
Oh
sort of
yeah.
thing.
So according to Natalie Reynolds, was one of the witnesses that has spoken up about what Jack Doherty does and everything. She apparently used to work for Jack Doherty, and she said that when Jack Doherty hires these girls, he takes 100% of the revenue and gives them like $3,000 a month salary. And so I would say the fear of like losing this job or whatever would be like, if they lost this job, they would basically lose all of their like income, all of their house, like because basically Jack is giving them everything. So if they were to want to back out, they would basically lose like where they were living, all that stuff, and I guess they would have to like move back in with their parents, or I don't know exactly how that would work, but I guess the fear of like quitting this or not wanting to do this anymore would just be losing all the benefits that they had originally got from it.
So technically, it could be a form of financial exploitation, because one of the things that they do, traffickers will do, is they trap the girls, they trap the victims in these situations. They make it difficult for them to leave, difficult for them either financially or to where they actually fear leaving. So it might not be, if they're not doing lewd activity on the internet, it could still be considered forced labor because they are performing labor for him. And it just
Yeah.
comes down to, right, and he already recruited them, he's sheltering them, etc. So he clearly checks the boxes for an act when it comes to human trafficking. And if they're
Yeah.
underage, you only need an act and you need a purpose, which would be exploitation. So if
Yeah.
he is manipulating them or forbidding them to get access to their accounts or creating a situation where they can't leave, be it because of financial exploitation, etc., that could be considered forced labor for exploitation. So if that's the case, then he's probably living on borrowed time. And it's only a matter of time before the feds in the U.S. step up
Yeah.
and handle him,
I
if that's what he's
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think it's only a matter of time until eventually the feds and like all that stuff happens. I mean, I know I reported my witness to what had happened. There's probably been a lot of other people that have reported their witness. There might even be feds investigating him right now for all I know. But yeah, I agree. I think it's only a matter of time until eventually all this stuff gets like fully like blown out of the water. So
Do you know when if they're signing contracts, are their parents signing the contracts for them, for those who are underage?
so I don't know if it's
Do you know?
yeah, so I don't know if it's I don't know if they're specifically signing contracts because of course, okay, when a minor signs a contract and it's providing them a house and all that stuff, then it becomes more legally binding. But the thing is, I don't know exactly how the contract would work since the whole thing is illegal regardless. Like he's basically getting these girls to, he's sexually exploiting these girls. So the whole thing would be illegal regardless of them signing a contract or not. I don't know specifically if it's like them actually signing a contract. I think the matter of whether they're signing a contract or not really doesn't matter that much because regardless, it's just an agreement. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, and you do this for me, and I'm basically giving you like all this stuff. I'm setting you up with all this stuff, and that's why you're not gonna leave. So I think whether there's a contract involved or not, it really doesn't matter that much. But I think even if the parents were to sign the contract, it's still like the thing is illegal regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like them putting themselves out on the internet like that is just, it's regardless of a contract or not, it would be illegal. But if there was
Well,
a 18-year-old involved, if it was like a grown woman, then she would be able to sign the contract and it would be more legally binding. But a minor signing the contract is it would be legally binding. The thing is that it's just, especially if there's like a house involved, like if he's offering them a place to stay, food, shelter, all of that, then the contract becomes more legally binding to the minor. But it's just that the minor is doing already illegal things. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know, how that would fall into the law, but yeah.
well,
Hello.
Sorry, Crowns, you muted yourself.
sorry about that. I'm still trying to figure out this Twitter thing, this whole bird app thing. Yeah, so if it does end up turning into a human trafficking investigation, they will look at everything through the lens of human trafficking, which means that if there are contracts involved, and if minors signed a contract, and minors aren't supposed to be signing contracts, but if they were, and those contracts put them in a situation to where Jack was taking advantage of them through these contracts that aren't even binding, that could actually be evidence of a form of exploitation within itself. We saw this within the Tate case where they were putting these they were having girls sign contracts that would state that if they didn't meet a quota, and off the top of my head, I don't remember what the quota was, but it was something like 10,000 euros a month. So if they didn't meet this quota of 10,000 euros a month, then they would forfeit 100% of the money. So they put all these crazy contracts together that aren't legal. They're not legal and they're not binding, but they would make the girls and they would make the victims believe that they were binding.
Interesting.
So they would use these, so they can use those as evidence if this turns into a human trafficking investigation, because that would be a form of exploitation to trick them into believing that they signed a binding contract. That's why I was
interesting.
asking.
Yeah, I mean that could be the case. That he could be
Yeah.
tricking them into believing that it is legally binding. I know when I had searched up, like when it comes to legally binding a minor in a contract, basically like the rules for a contract to be more and even then it's still really thin, but the rules for a contract to be more legally binding to a minor is if it involves like providing them like a shelter or food and stuff like that, then the contract can become like more legally binding. Sorry if you guys hear like there's kind of lawnmowers. I don't know if you guys hear that in my background. It's kind of loud. But yeah, that's what I read about it. But yeah, I mean, if he's tricking them into believing that they're legally binding, that could be definitely even like worse for sure. That would be a lot more proof and everything.
Well, I have seen and forgive me, I can't recall if this was on your video or another one. I've been watching a lot of them since I was originally looking at doing a video about Jack, and I've seen some testimonies of. That's right. No, I was with those other guys that worked with Jack. Put out a video. I'd give them a shout out, but I can't recall their names. But they were saying that they witnessed some girls going to Jack and saying that, look, this our pay and the agreement is not fair. We're not getting fairly compensated. And then that they would be, how would I put it, coerced and kind of convinced that they were wrong for coming to him and that they just aren't working hard enough. So then they would speak to these girls after they had these conversations, and they would almost have been like convinced of this, literally, that there wasn't a problem and that it was their fault. There seems to be a lot of testimonies of coercion and manipulation, I guess, going on. We've got, Shy's on the stage, and Shy's done a lot of advocacy work for victims of exploitation and sexual exploitation in the UK. So you might have some good questions to ask Vinny. So yeah, Shy, do you have any questions for Vinny? I see your hand up.
Hello, the room. Thank you for bringing me up. Love and respect to Gadget and Crayons, by the way. I've actually come up. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're clear.
Brilliant. I'm an advocate from the UK, and I help and represent and advocate for children as little as 6 years old, and that have been through trafficking and sexual exploitation. And the thing is, I did have a question, but Crayon, as always, gets in there before me and asks you, and then sorts it all out and makes it clear for everyone. And the thing that you need to be clear about is Crayons is absolutely right. You can't sign a contract with a child, and most of the contracts are therefore null and void when you get into the investigation. But the reason I came into the room was to look square into Vinny's eyes. If you can see me, I'm looking right in your eyes, and tell you something that us victims, the children that you're helping, want to say to you. And that is, thank you. Just plain, clear, thank you. People like you are gold dust, phoenixes, heroes to us. And we just wanted to say just that, just to Vinny. Thank you. I'm going to mute now. Sorry.
Thank you. I really appreciate those kind words. And yeah, I mean, I want to give, glory to God. I mean, I'm the way I am because God made me the way I am. So I always just, give glory to God. I really appreciate those kind words. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to make that video without the conviction of the Holy Spirit and all of that. So yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Shy. Now, Vinny, I wanted to just kind of get back to the process of getting to where we are today, and I guess in late August when you put out that video, and make sure, just in case we missed any kind of revelations that you had or anything important about your journey of coming to where you made when you hit upload on that video, and then if we have any questions along the way, we'll get in there. I'll be selective about who I bring up as well, which I have been so far. So I want to be mindful of your time and make sure that we get some good questions with people that we know will ask relevant questions. When you went to that second meeting, were you already having alarm bells of what you had witnessed and the testimonies that you heard was
Oh yeah.
trafficking and potentially child trafficking?
Yeah, so the second time I went there, I actually went there with a friend, and my friend was recording me like the whole time. Well, sorry, he wasn't recording me. He was actually streaming me the whole time I was there. And so yeah, I definitely was way more prepared now. Like I had my friend with me. He was streaming everything, so if anything did go down, like, I would catch it on stream this time. And yeah, I was definitely a lot more prepared the second time I went there. Um, I mean, they were kind of the team was definitely like looking at me like in a more, I would say, weirder way. They were kind of looking at me like they didn't really like me. So yeah, I think by the time I was there already for the second time, they were just kind of like, yeah, don't hire this guy. And yeah, I was definitely more prepared and all of that. And alarm bells were definitely raised, if that's what you meant.
What would you have done if he hired you with what you had seen? Would you have gone undercover to that extent?
Yeah, I would have just continued going anytime he invited me, and just try to have. I would have gone with my friend every single time he invited me again, and just try to get like more, like try to be, try to get more evidence. I guess what I would have done probably to better investigate would probably be not have my friend just have a camera on me 24/7. Probably have my phone and on voice memo and just like record the voices. Maybe I would have probably had a more like thought out kind of way to do it where it wasn't so obvious that maybe I was trying to expose them. But yeah, I definitely would have like had everything like more thought out to try to like how can I successfully pull this off, without them thinking that I'm trying to get like something on them. You know what I'm saying?
Geez, and then when you found this interview that was I guess hidden from the internet, and then got towards the process of putting the video together, and that you added some context of some people that had spoken up already, which again, it's really adding up the amount of people that we know have spent time with Jack and around Jack and have reported some alarming things. Um, as far as I guess this time between the second meeting and between the video being ready, was there like any other major revelations or anything that was shocking that you discovered that came out in the video?
So yeah, after I had made the video, there's actually this new clip that I have now. And it's really it's like if it's even more damning, and it's basically just her saying like she's in the house with Jack and this other streamer, and she's basically like saying like, oh, like, they want me to start an OnlyFans. And Jack is basically saying like, oh, like we might as well. And then the other streamer comes up on the thing, and he's like, we don't care if they're 18 or not. And like Jack is showing his phone, like trying to show her something, and then the clip ends. So
the fact that they're trying to get a girl to make an OnlyFans, like
we don't watch it. No one wants to buy our OnlyFans. I'm just saying, like, you might as well. Like, we're just putting it out.
We're not worried about her being 18. We focus.
So that was really like, whoa. Like when I had saw that, I was like, dang, I wish I saw that before I made the video so I could have put that. But yeah, that was pretty bad. And I think, I'm trying to remember, I think that was pretty much it. But in the meantime, I guess you can say that I am trying to get more evidence to maybe make a part two to see what I can do. But um yeah, I think that was the most like damning clip I saw after I had made the video. I was like, whoa, that is really bad. But I guess I'm not necessarily trying to make a part two right now, but if more evidence does come to me, like I would make a part two for sure.
Man, you get the sense that there must be some people that have some more to share that might have been scared. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel like there's going to be more to come.
Yeah, honestly,
Um,
I think his cameraman that got in like the whole accident, I have no idea like why he's still like super cool with him. Like you can see him in the clip, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're all good," like in the hospital and everything. And it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of sad, like how I guess I feel like people really work with him to be honest, because they're just scared like to go anywhere else. Like he kind of basically gave them like their entire life, money, like a place to stay, like all these people that work for him, like he kind of set up their whole life. So they're kind of, I feel like they're scared to like go anywhere else, you know? But it's kind of sad, like his work, his like how, especially like how he treated his cameraman, like that's insane. But that's just the type of person he is. Like he really only cares about getting money. So he was just gonna, he doesn't care about his worker being extremely damaged, literally, bleeding. Uh, he's just like, oh, get the angles while he's like bleeding. It's like it just shows the type of person he is. And I already knew that. Like I already knew he was that type of person even before the clips because I had met him in person. That's just who he is. He's just that type of person. It's like I said in the beginning, it's different when when you meet like a narcissist and just they don't have anything. They don't have money, they don't have influence, they don't have any of that. And it's different when you meet a narcissist who does have all of that, who does have influence, who does has money, who does have people who he's bossing around, who he's given like lives to, who basically like are his yes man and like it's different. Like he's genuinely terrible person that's capable of able to do all these illegal terrible things.
Man, that was crazy with his mate who, yeah, he's got blood coming down his face. He looks like he might be concussed, and
Yeah, I know.
all Jack cares about is content in that moment. There's something wrong. There's something wrong upstairs. Yeah, Crayons, you got your hand up. Got a question for Vinny?
Yeah, well, it's not it's not a question. It's more of just a statement. Vinny was talking about how a future clip that he's going to publish has one of Jack's employees, I'm guessing, stating that it doesn't matter if they're 18 or not for OnlyFans. And it just made me think about how toxic these guys are and the example that it's setting for all of their fans to hear that sort of thing. Social media influencers, they have fans, and there's a relationship that happens between the hardcore fans and the celebrities, not just social media influencers, but celebrities. It's a parasocial relationship. It's a one-way relationship where the celebrity or the social media influencer doesn't really know the other person exists, but that other person feels a really deep connection to that celebrity or to the social media influencer. So when you have these guys, you have the Jacks or his employees that are working for Jack, putting these underage girls on OnlyFans, recruiting these underage girls and saying things like, oh, we don't care if they're 18 or not. Like that just sends such a horrible message to however many millions or hundreds of thousands of young men who are watching those videos. And I think, if these guys are breaking the law, and again, I haven't dug deep enough like you have to say one way or the other. From what I've seen, I would say if they are trafficking, then it has to be dealt with to send a message, not only to those who are breaking the law to say this is not okay, but to those who are thinking about following his footsteps. To all the young men who are thinking, yeah, well, I don't care if she's 18 either, or I
Yeah.
can recruit girls from my high school when they're 15 or 16 or 17, and I can do the same thing. Like the message has to be sent that this is not okay.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, it just sends such a terrible message.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it really does send a terrible message, especially when his audience is children, right? So obviously anyone, I would say anyone even above the age of like 16, 17 can obviously tell that Jack is just not a good person and definitely wouldn't spend their free time watching his stream. But so that just means that thousands of kids are watching his streams. It really does send a terrible message to the youth. And it's surprising to me how people even support him in general. Because obviously, when you see clips of him on TikTok, it's usually just how people don't like him and people hate him. But it's a difference when you actually go to his stream. It's people who are actually like supporting him, donating to him, and all of this. And I find that absurd. Like that to me is just insane. I can't imagine why anybody would do that. But of course, obviously, it has to be like children, little kids who don't know any better, who are being influenced by this person who is genuinely a terrible person, and think that, oh yeah, it's okay to do all these terrible things because he does it, and I want to be just like him. So yeah, it definitely sends a terrible message. And I think him, if he were to get like caught by the cops and like the feds and everything, it would show that this is not the lifestyle that anyone should strive for.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what Vinny said, and be clear to those who are listening. Take the morality out of the equation here for a moment. There's a correct way, if you will, to run an agency for this sort of thing, and there's an incorrect way to run an OnlyFans agency or to do this. Again, take the morality out of it, just focus on the right way and the wrong way to do it. You can't manipulate people to do these things. You can't manipulate people to work on your behalf. You can't coerce them to do things. You can't create situations where it puts them in danger. You can't put your employees in danger. I mean, there are labor laws in place in the US and around Europe and other places in the world.
Crowns has dropped out. It might come back up. Yeah, the facts that, like you said, and for a lot that are listening that aren't kids might not be aware that this guy, his audience is kids, almost exclusively. Either kids or people that think he's a clown watching to see what stupid thing he does next. Um, and that's a big worry. So that's where, like you said, pushback is really important. That's why like videos like what you've put out and what you are putting out are so important, Vinny. And what was it like when upon the release of your video? Because I mean, your video, it has, for a channel with 3 videos, geez, it has some good views. I feel like the reach and the impact it's made has kind of exceeded that. Like I said, I've seen a lot of big channels and whatnot showing it, or especially the clip of that interview that you mentioned. That's a lot of people have taken that from your video and your work exposing that has gotten that a lot more exposure. So what was the response like once the video dropped? Did you start getting hit up? Did you get hate? Did Jack threaten to sue you again? What happened there?
No. So Jack actually hasn't he hasn't messaged me at all since I dropped my video. I feel like he's definitely saw it. But it's, when a video like that is one of those videos where you really just can't respond to, because if you respond to it, you give it attention, and the last thing you want is a video like this to get attention. So yeah, no, he hasn't messaged me or anything threatening to sue me or anything. I feel like even if it like, so my reaction, obviously, wait, your question was if I got like how the reaction was of other people, or my reaction to like how
I
other
guess
people
both. I
were.
guess both. How you felt and how the response
Yeah.
and what it was like on being online as you drop that video.
Yeah, so I definitely got a lot of people who like hated me, who didn't like me, and I got a lot of support as well. It's definitely more support than hate. But there is some people who are genuinely like don't like, or want to like discredit my video, or don't like me, and want to like hate on my video. And then there's a lot of people who support my video and want me to continue doing my work, and are just supporting and showing love. So my reaction is just, same as it would, is is just like, I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. um, yeah, I my reaction is, to like, I guess everything, all the views and all the, comments and likes and all that. I give all praise to God. Like I know, like, I'm rowing the boat, but God is steering the wheel. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna continue doing my reaction is just I'm just gonna continue exposing people like him on Kick or wherever they may be, because my goal on the internet really is to make sure like these like degenerates can like never be on the internet again. Like I don't want to, not just do they have to get banned off the platform, I also want to make sure that new ones never pop up in the internet like again. So I'm just kind of like trying to expose as much as I can, and just keep on exposing these people, keep on doing my investigations, and keep on doing it. I think that's where I'm being led to right now, of just doing this and making. I just want to make the internet like a more better place, because it wasn't always like this. You know, it wasn't always degenerate. A lot of degenerate influencers getting thousands of viewers and all of that stuff, and it's very sad. So I just want to make sure that people like this never have a platform again, because it really is a terrible impact on society. So
100%. And I've definitely seen this, and a lot of us here have seen this as well. Just this rise of the most toxic people possible
yeah.
getting so much attention and validation for what they're doing. So just to make it clear as well, this isn't like a one and done video. From what you've told me and what you're saying here as well, your plan and your goal with your channel is to continue to do videos like this, and to continue to push back against the, I guess, bad people online, for lack of a better word, that are, yeah, having a really negative and horrible impact on such young audiences. So that's your goal with your channel, is so people can expect more of that from you.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Gee, I think that's a pretty good place to finish, man. A good plug for your channel. So up in the nest, I'll upload this to YouTube as well and put it in the description of the YouTube video. But up in the nest, I'll put the link to Vinny's video, Catching Kick's Child Predator, which, again, really just did a great job of, one, bringing some new evidence and testimonies to light of what is going on with Jack Doherty, his circle, his OnlyFans quote unquote agency, and also adding some a compilation of some other testimonies as well. Is there anything else that you want to like plug or let people know what to expect? Everyone, of course, give him a follow on X, on Twitter. But is there anything else that you want to finish off with that people can expect from you, or that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, so expect catching more predators, influencer predators, or even I might, obviously, of course, I stream on Kick, and I do plan on trying to catch predators on Omi as well. So if you want to see that as well, you can go follow me on Kick and everything. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much going to be my goal on the internet: catch these predators, and try to. I also want to, um, uh, be able to stream and hang out with people who like watching me, and all that as well, and create kind of like a community as well of people who like this content and want to see a positive impact on the internet. So yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. No, thanks, Vinny. So I'll leave it in the YouTube upload. I'll leave a link to your YouTube, your X, and sounds like you're very active streaming on Kick as well, which makes sense since your goal is to expose predators. That's where much of the predators online are being allowed to flourish, I guess you
Yeah,
could
for real.
say. So,
Yep.
um, awesome. No, great work with the video. Congratulations on the success. I mean, geez, I wish my third video had made the impact that yours did. I could only imagine, man. So great work. Congratulations. Everyone give Vinny a follow. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll put it this way, I'll be following the Jack Doherty situation with a lot more interest now. And if anyone has had experience around Jack's team or knows someone that would want to talk even anonymously, Vinny's happy to chat. You can DM myself, and I can obviously put you in touch with Vinny as well. Because again, I know it can be a very daunting thing, talking out against these people with massive platforms as well. We can make sure that you're not put on blast essentially as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
it's
go on.
definitely, yeah, it's definitely one of those things with, like, well, me personally, I don't know if it was his fans, I don't know if it was people that worked for him, but when I was, exposing all the stuff on my stream, which I also exposed before I made my video, I was going on stream testifying against him as well. I got a lot, like, of hate. Like, I got people like doxing me, sending me pizza. Um and so it's definitely one of those things where, I don't really care to get doxxed. I don't really care if people threaten me, send death threats to me. There might be some people who are can't really handle that, but me personally, I don't care. I don't care if people send death threats to me. It doesn't faze me at all. So, or even people that send pizza to my house or dox me or anything like that, I'm not scared of them or anything like that. So, yeah, it definitely, I guess I would just say that as a warning for people who are also, but it shouldn't. I want to say this as well. It shouldn't scare anyone else as well either. And so I feel like no one else should be scared to speak out about these things. Just because they have a big platform doesn't mean that you're not able to speak out against them. So just want to say that as well. You should not be scared of these things. It's, anyways, for everyone it's different. Some people could get, threatened worse, but it's, never be scared to do the right thing, I guess you should say. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And if anyone does dox me, if they can do it by sending pizza, that would be the best way to do it. So please send some pizza my way. But no, awesome. Yeah, I'll be following your channel with great interest as well to see what you do next, and I'll be sure to share your videos of whatever creep you expose next. So thanks a lot, Vinny. Thanks to everyone listening. And everyone check out Vinny's video up the top. Give it a like, a view, and then give him a subscription as well. And yeah, keep an eye out for the next space and video. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you, Vinny, for your time, of course. How could I forget? Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.